Johnson.
What an exciting time. How many of you are thrilled to be here today? Just excited. If you're at home and you want to type it in the chat, you can type it in the chat. I'm excited to be here. Now we have, as Janine mentioned, we are going to be covering the topic of lists. We're going to build lists. How many of you knew that building a list was going to be an important part of your business? Okay, if you didn't know that, maybe you're new, but if you're starting at LifeWave and you've been in the industry a little bit of time, hopefully that's not a new concept. If it is, someone didn't train you very well, because that's where it all starts. Now, I actually had a partner of mine that was going to be helping me train on this. I didn't mean to get emotional, but she had a loss in her family. For those of you who know Penny Carpenter, she was going to be up here with me and help me present on this. But could we blow her a quick kiss and just let her know we care about her? You ready? We'll do this all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Mwah. Okay. Usually, I don't get emotional when we talk about building lists, but in this case, it's okay. And if anybody knows me, that's actually very common for me to get a little emotional. So, okay. So building lists is always an important part. It's a starting stage of almost every network marketing business. So as we get going through this today, nothing that I'm going to teach is probably too different from what you learned before, but hopefully we can give you kind of a few different thoughts and different ways you could look at how to organize your team and how to take a look at these lists and how to use them in a way that's going to be able to help you take your business to that next level. Okay. Let's talk about the two main markets that everyone has. You have your warm market and you have your cool market. Anybody familiar with these terms? Hopefully you're somewhat familiar with them. What is the warm market? Well, the warm market is generally most of the people that you have on your phone. Does anyone not have a phone? Okay, I think we're safe in there. So that's a great place to start. But we have our phones, we have our communities. It's all those people who we know, we care about, we have that connection with. It's people on social media. Though these are all people that we have already some kind of a relationship with, that they know that when we go and talk to them, there's already a certain level of trust built. And then when we talk to them, it's not like it's the first time we've ever spoken to them. Now we have our cool market, and these are some people that maybe they've heard of you before, or maybe even seen you before through social media, but maybe you've never made that connection before. And so these are the two different markets that we each have the opportunity to build from. Now from these two lists, which of the ones is probably the most likely to have the most success? The warm market. Why? Why would that be? They trust you? Yes, absolutely. They know you. Now that doesn't always help. That can actually work against you. Not for Gary, of course. Superman can do whatever he wants and everyone will follow, right? But the reality is that there's that certain level of trust built. And so when we're looking at our market and we're saying, where do we start? It's always best to start with your warm market. The people who know and care and trust you. And so as we start to look in these groups and as we start to kind of determine who we want to talk to, one of the elements that we've always found is a good idea is to kind of put them into categories. Categorize the people that you're going to work with. The more you do this, the more it helps you to kind of determine what's going to be the best way for me to be able to introduce them to LifeWave and what that impact can be on them. And so the first one is D, which is the dream team. These are your ride and dies. These are the people who you know that if you had the choice to do business with, these are the people that you would choose. These are the people that if you could get on your team, that you'd be able to run and you'd be able to do some pretty amazing things together. Next is S for super fans. These are people who will cheer you on no matter what. Now for many of us, this might be our mom. Anyone have a mom who will cheer you on no matter what? And so, but this could be other people in our lives. It could be family, it could be friends. Hopefully we have a certain number of friends that are around us that would always cheer us on and always support us no matter what. And those are the people we'd put on that S, the super fans list. The next one is C for connectors. Now, these are the people that you know that know a lot of people. They're the ones that when you go to a basketball game for your kids that knows every single other parent's name and has already figured out ways to be able to make sure they're probably feeding half the team most of the time and doing different things, and they're just super connected within that group. It could be at church, it could be, like I say, at sporting events with your kids. It could be just the people that you know and care about and that you spend a lot of time with. But these are the people who are just super connected. And knowing that these are the people that are also, each one of these areas is actually people you want on your team. And of course, then there's the business builders. These are the people that you can almost, once you get them started and they kind of understand and have a real passion for what we're doing, you can almost forget about them because they're going to do it with or without you. And most of the times they don't want a lot of help. Anyone have to deal with that on your team? Now, everyone needs a little bit of help, obviously, and we want to encourage them to follow the system and everything else. But these are just great people because you know that no matter what happens, they're going to keep going and they're going to keep driving. And so as you take a look at the list of people that you have, the ones that you're working with, when you set them up and you categorize them in this way, it just helps you to kind of figure out who are the people you want to talk to first. Because these are the ones that fall into these categories. There may be others on your list that maybe don't fall into any of these categories, but still need what we have to offer. And so as we start to build your team and build your organization, when you list these people in these 4 areas are the ones you really want to focus on first. Okay. We also have provided you a new tool, which is our LifeWave Now app. This app has the ability to be able to put all your contacts in. You can upload them from your phone. You can upload them from the previous app that we had. There is a way you can download your contacts in the old one and be able to upload them into the new one. And so that is all available to you. There's an actual email that went out probably within the last few weeks to show you how to do that. If you have any questions, you can go back and look at that. But this is a really important part of it because this is just a way that you can use this to build the contacts, get them in there, but also use it as a means to be able to share the information. And we're going to be doing a little bit more training on how to do that a little bit later this afternoon. But it's a powerful tool in being able to share your message to get it out to as many people as possible. And when you do that and you have them in the contact, in your list, you can use it as a means to be able to track if you send them, like say, a video, if they've watched it, and you'll get notifications back letting them know that you have. We also have some additional tools that are available to you on the app. One of them is our list building worksheet. And this is something that if you haven't had a chance to look at yet, I would encourage you to get on the app and take a look at this because this gives you basically everything that I've just spoken about, in a document where you can use it to be able to build your team and build your list. It has a memory jogger, different types of people that you might think of as you're trying to build your organization and build that list. How many of you feel like you have a pretty good list already? Okay? How many of you would like to add to your list? How many of you add to your list every day? Well, that's actually a pretty good group of the room. Let's give them a round of applause. It really is quite amazing, actually, to have that many people, because it is the list building. If you're not doing it consistently enough and adding to it every single day, you're missing out because it's the consistency over time that makes all the difference versus just occasionally adding to it. Because when you're only doing it occasionally, there's people that will pop up in your mind or different things, and if you're not ready or prepared or have it on a consistent basis where you're writing it down, you can forget. Has anybody in the room had somebody where you thought about them at one point in time thinking, I need to reach out to that person, and then you forgot to do it, and then later on you find out they're signed up in someone else's team? How does that feel? Pretty exciting, huh? No, it's horrible, right? And then they become the top leader in the company. That's never the fun part, right? But that's the reality. Couldn't it happen? Yes, it does. And we actually hear about it all the time. So we want to make sure that whenever those promptings come, and they will come to say, hey, you know what? You should reach out to so-and-so. To have an opportunity or have something always with you to say, and write it down. Always have somebody to write down names because the names are going to come to you on a regular basis. We have that little voice in our head that will always remind us of the people who need it the most. But sometimes we can get in our own way. So make sure you always have a place to be able to write that down. So How many of you would like to take a few minutes right now and add to your list? So I'm going to encourage everyone that's in the room to get out you all got a new notebook, so get your notebook out. Get to a fresh page, one that you don't have any notes on. We're going to ask everyone at home as well to make sure you get a pen and paper out as well. We're going to do this. And for those of you if you want to know, there is going to be a reward for maybe those who are able to come up with a pretty good list. So we're going to take a few minutes. What I'm going to do while we go through that is I'm going to actually share a few thoughts, different types of people you can think about as you're writing them down. Hopefully it'll help jog some thoughts as we go through this. But as we do this, and we're going to give you 2 minutes. So it's not going to be a long time, but we want to give you 2 minutes to take an opportunity to write down these names. And hopefully these are names of people that you have not spoken to yet. These are new names that you're thinking, okay, let's go this. And be prepared to listen for that little voice who might be sharing some names with you as well, okay? Who's ready to do this? Okay, so I'm gonna get my timer out. Give me a second so I can actually read my phone. Okay. So we're gonna get started in a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So who do you know that you would like to spend more time with? Who do you know has a business strength that you don't have and would be a good partner? Who do you know who is an entrepreneur always looking for the right company and program? Who do you know who is consistently up on the latest health and wellness trends? Who do you know who has mentioned sleep, energy, or anxiety issues for them or another person? Who do you know is an athlete, and not me, of course, I'm already here, but perhaps training for a special event? Who do you know frequently mentions that they are not feeling well? Who do you know has regular visits to chiropractor, doctor, nutritionists, and trainers? And who do you know is a major fan of yours and is always excited to support you? Okay, I'm going to give you another 30 seconds or so to be able to write a few more names down. It's so quiet. Okay, 5 more seconds. Okay. Pens down. No cheating now. Okay. All right, so how many of you were able to get a list of at least 20 names? Raise your hand. And I can't see if anyone's raising their hand, actually. Okay, we got a few at 20. How many got to 30? Anyone get to 30? You might have to make a little noise as well so I can hear. Any 30s? Nobody got to 30? Nobody was listening to little voice? Just kidding. Okay, 25. Like I said, there's a prize in it if someone wants to add a few names while I'm talking. Just kidding. Okay, we had a few at 20. Who has more than 20? 22? Anyone have more than 22? Okay, let's give a sleeve of X39 to our 22 names. Now, I know that's a little bit hard because I asked you to write names down that you haven't already spoken to, and some of you I know have spoken to a lot of people already. And so that's okay, and that's great. But we just want you to know the power of the list. Your phone, if you talk about what is the worth of your contact list. Now, some of you might say, oh, mine isn't very good, or I don't know very many people. How many ever felt that way before? I think everyone's felt that way one or another. But let's say Let's take David Jumper as an example, one of our Hall of Fame members. And what do you think the value of his contact list is? Millions, right? Now, did he do it all on his own? No, he didn't. What he did is he contacted his people, and they had their own lists. And then he used those lists to build more lists. And then he used those lists to build more lists. So the answer to the question is, even if you don't know that there's many people on your contact list that you think might be interested or might actually do much with it, they know people who would. And I will say this just to finish off, and that is this. Whenever you're done and you get a no, the first question you should always ask is this: who else do you know that might be interested? Because that referral can sometimes be one of your top leaders. One of my previous companies I was with, our top leader I was in Australia at the time, our top income earner, her top leader on her team was a referral from someone who said no. Now, the person who said no really regretted it and did end up joining, but it was further down in the organization, right? So make sure you're using your list. And I want you to always think, what is the power of my list? And the power of your list is the consistency of putting them in every single day and sticking with it every single day. So how many of you are committed to adding to your contact list every single day? I promise you, if you will do that, that is the first step on your road to success. And I'm telling you that there's obviously other steps in light successes we'll get to, but it is the starting point. And the more you add to it, the better you'll be. Thank you all, and I look forward to catching up with you a little bit later.